Okay, all right. To anyone listening out there, this is another episode of my podcast, the Next Generation Orientation Podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the pain of ignorance. Ignorance to me, I found it as a lack of information or lack of knowledge. So most of the things that we face in our society today is actually because of we choose to ignore the things that we're supposed to do and the important things that we're supposed to know. So on today's episode, I'm going to be having this conversation with a brother and a friend, someone that is ethically knowledgeable enough to share this kind of knowledge with us. So I'm here with Sade, the managing director of Rexo Constructions. Thank you, my brother, for such a great privilege being in my podcast. I don't see it as a small thing. So for you to make out your time and give me your time, it's something that I so much appreciate. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
First of all, I want to say a big congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And for taking out time to make yourself available to be impactful to your generation.
Exactly.
I know. So living a life of impact is very, very pivotal at such a time where it seems like there are a lot of lordship everywhere. People are misdirected. People are faced with a lot of lack of focus and all that. But you have distinguished
sorry, I think
yourself.
this fan. I want to just put it up. Sorry, I will edit. The breeze is blowing in your distance.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to believe you have made yourself available to live a life of impact to your generation, and I think that is the way to live.
Thank you so
in
much.
a generation that is compounded with so lot of misdirected people, you have decided to avail yourself for this path and for this journey, and all I can see is success in this way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Deb. Thank you. When I gave you the topic, I actually have a list of many topics. So you went straight and you took up this topic, the pain of ignorance. So I don't know what actually made you to pick this topic. Is it something that you think that there's a problem in the society about this particular thing? That's why you want to talk about it. What is your motive?
As a matter of fact, I think my decision was motivated by passion. I have passion for people who are actually really misdirected. People who don't know what to do. Because I am aware that to know what to do is to live where you are. As a matter of fact, you cannot be talking of stagnation when people know what to do. Even the Bible said, arise, shine. That means before you arise and shine, something has motivated you. You have seen something. Therefore, thy light has come. So light is knowledge. So when light or knowledge comes, you cannot be in one place. So there are a lot of stagnation and frustration in the land today because people lack what to do. They don't know what to do. They don't know their hour. Living one day at a time. Living both carelessly and recklessly.
Yeah.
So it's a bankruptcy of knowledge, the bankruptcy of ideas. They don't know what to do. So they can be stagnated because of lack of what to do, not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
So this topic is actually a very, very interesting topic.
Yeah, definitely.
When I saw the topic, it didn't take me 1 minute. I was moved out of passion, like I said.
Yeah.
Because when you say ignorance, the question is, what is ignorance? I consider ignorance as a total lack of knowledge.
Exactly.
And that is dangerous in our society. You may be shocked why I'm using the word dangerous. I consider a lot of poverty, stagnation, retrogression, backwardness as ignorance.
Exactly.
Because, like I said, not knowing what to do is signature for frustration. You have just signed for frustration if you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
So, as a matter of fact, in a situation where you are bankrupt of knowledge, you don't know what to do, you are ignorant. I'm trying not to use the word ignorance because ignorance is a complete lack of knowledge. And I see ignorance in the direction of poverty. Because show me a man that is knowledgeable in any area, maybe a neurosurgeon, an expert neurosurgeon. I will tell you are face to face with a billionaire or a billionaire in that realm because he knows what. Show me also a man that is also bankrupt of knowledge in any area, in any department. tell you are face to face with 400 people. So
I get your point.
So the pain of ignorance is a pain indeed. It's a pain such that when you are, you don't know what to do. You are just bankrupt of ideas. You don't know what is going on around you.
Mhm.
You can never benefit from what you don't know.
It's not possible.
You can never
cannot.
benefit from what you don't know.
Yeah.
So what you don't know is actually a pain indeed. Because while others, in fact, as a matter of fact, I think I was sharing with a friend recently. I said, the reason why you have children in a class, same lecture, same tutorship,
Mhm.
and then at the end of the day, one is coming out first, one is coming out last. You may don't trace it to any other factor too far. You might trace it to the fact that it is because this one doesn't know, that's why he's back. And the reason why this one is forward or in front is because he or she knows.
No, yeah.
You understand?
Mhm.
So, who is feeling the pain?
The one that doesn't know.
Definitely. So, even in the realm of business, because I might be diving into that a lot,
Yeah.
because I'm a businessman. Any area of business where your knowledge is not on the higher realm, trust me, you can't do well in that kind of business. Because it is the business that you know that you can succeed in.
Yeah.
Take for instance our local way of bringing people up, talking about the Igbos, for example. You see the trade lifestyle of the Igbo. Trust me, there are a lot of graduates that can even go to school, and at the end of the day, lack of what to do. In fact, most of them they ended up reading the course that they wanted to read.
So,
And trust me when I say, if they teach a young small boy from an Igbo community
Mhm.
a particular trade, the reason why you see the boy succeeding at the end of the day, especially when he was focused on the business and all, is because he has gained knowledge in that area. You understand?
Yes.
Carry a plumber to do the work of a carpenter is disaster. You
Very
understand?
big one,
Why?
yeah.
Because the plumber lacks the knowledge of the carpenter.
carpenter. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you can only succeed in the area of your knowledge. So like I keep saying, knowledge travels in the direction of prosperity, and ignorance travels in the direction of poverty. So you can see that the reason why you have a lot of stagnated people that are struggling, suffering, and all that is because of the lack of knowledge.
That is the ignorance. And we look at this ignorance as just a common word, an English word, without knowing the kind of impact, negative impact it has created in our society. So because you're suffering from that, yes, we are suffering. Yeah, a lot of our youth are suffering. So that is why I want us to talk about it, so that we will have this. We will have to be aware of our environment, of what is happening in our society, so that we can actually, especially being aware of what is happening within us.
That's correct.
I don't know, you understand. So for that reason, we are kind of limiting some kind of things we're supposed to ignore and all that. So for that reason, it's going to make you to be more effective in your area of where you get more knowledge from.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You see, the pain of ignorance as a topic, trust me, I consider it to be something that nobody should take for granted.
No.
Because even the good book, the Bible, have made it clear that my people perish. So the reason for the perishing is because of the bankruptcy of knowledge. So, and like I said, when knowledge is absent, pain is inevitable. So you get a lot of pain as a result of the bankruptcy of knowledge.
Yeah.
So ignorance in our society, especially at the youthful level, talking about youth, and especially we that are the upcoming leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah.
You see, there are a lot of things people need to gain knowledge in. The typical white man will tell you, if you want to hide something from an African,
Write it in a book.
So a lot
because
of people
Africans don't read.
Yeah, a lot of people are not reading. A lot of people are not striving to gain knowledge.
Mhm.
This is not just knowledge in the books. I used an example of a typical Igbo man who brings up a boy and trains him this knowledge can be versatile. It can be in different areas. The truth is, any area of your life you are gaining knowledge, and you are consistent in that area, it is the area where your prosperity is almost sure. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, if in our society today, I keep saying that there is a price to pay, and people are yet to understand and pinpoint these prices that are meant to pay. Because if you pay the price of knowledge today, you can play tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying?
Very well, actually.
If you pay today, you can play tomorrow. But if you play today and ignore the knowledge that you are meant to get today, you will pay tomorrow, because there is consistently going to be a payday and a play day.
Yeah.
So it is up to any individual to choose. If you want to pay today, then you can be sure of playing tomorrow. If I want to translate it to maybe a business or something, maybe you are able to, as a growing person, you know that okay, you need to work hard at this level at this time of your life. I'm using myself for instance right now. Sometimes even my wife will complain, I'm stressing myself so much, I am always working and working and working. Sometimes I just smile, and I brought her to understand that you need to pay today so that you can play tomorrow. You have not worked until you come to the point where you are sleeping and making money. You have not done anything yet until you come to the point where you are receiving alerts on bed. You understand? So the reason for that old man that is a security there, that is not meant to be, that cannot even chase a thief, is because he didn't pay yesterday. So he's paying now. So you play today, and some persons may be unlucky. Actually, I won't dispute that fact, that some people are just naturally unlucky, and no matter how hard they try, they strive and all that.
So don't you think that they are trying hard in a place that they were not supposed to?
Okay, if you talk about that, trying hard in the wrong direction.
Yes, exactly.
You understand? See, I also try to make people understand that knowing what to do, especially knowing the will, the plan and purpose of God for your life, is very, very important.
Thing. Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Because I have heard my father in the Lord, Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche, say, not to know what to do is signature consent for frustration. And to know what to do is to shift from where you are. I have heard him say that many, many times. So, endeavor in the wrong direction is disaster in disguise. Do you understand? Exactly. So when you channel your energy, your capacity and mentality in the wrong direction, where you are not called, you understand? Frustration is
calling you.
You understand?
Exactly.
So you will jam frustration. It is inevitable.
At all.
So that is why it is very important to know what to do, and to know the will, plan and purpose of God
for your life.
Question
is very important. Yeah.
People are down right now as we speak. The reason is not because they want to stay down, but they don't know what to do.
They have not identified their purpose.
Give such a person 10 billion naira, he will crash. He will spend and spend and spend. This is just like the parable of those guys that Jesus Christ gave talents.
Yeah.
You understand? Some returned with the talent, some returned,
just keep it like that.
And some returned with double the talent. You understand?
Yes.
So those that came with double the talent,
they are the ones that will give more.
They are the ones that will give more. They are the ones qualified for more.
Yeah.
They are the ones who know what to do. So what I keep saying is, if you don't know what to do, it is resources meeting frustration. You understand? Because you're already frustrated and retrogressed. So when this kind of resources jam that kind of frustration and retrogression, that resources can't survive. But look at somebody that have come to a point in his life where he can forecast, where he can think, when he can say, okay, this is what I feel God wants me to do out of my life. Such a person, try that person. I posted something just yesterday on my WhatsApp. Give a wet ground to a dry person, he will dry the ground. And give a wet ground to a dry person, he will dry the ground. And give a dry ground to a wet person, he will irrigate that ground. That ground will be irrigated. Because this wet person I'm talking about is not somebody who poured himself water. I'm talking about somebody that is readiness in motion. Do you understand? Somebody that has come to terms knowing that this is what I need to do. I may be restricted and limited by the lack of resources and all. But if I get this, or I get this kind of opportunity, then you can be sure that I will expand. I'll be amplified at the speed of light. You understand?
Yes.
So a person that is not wet, that is a dry person, take the person to a wet ground, take the person to a comfortable environment, a place where the person can naturally succeed. You will be shocked that that person will not succeed. You will be shocked that that person will rather drag that business or drag that opportunity
because there was nothing in him
because that person came empty. So ignorance transmogrifies into a lot of things. The pain is what we are seeing. Is that not so? That is the outcome of ignorance. Pain is the outcome of ignorance. You understand?
Exactly.
So this is a very, very important thing
that we need to know. Yes, that we need to know.
Everybody needs to know.
Growing up, you know, I've seen you. I've known you. The little time I've known you as someone that is always striving for success. You know, I can tell that from a lot of time. So, is there any time that a kind of that you feel that there's a lot of things that you ignore, that you paid for later, or you suffered, that made you realize that yes, okay, this was actually what you are supposed to do, that you are not doing, so you are doing what you are not supposed to do? Because there must definitely be a time in your life that you will have to realize what you're doing and say, this is not what I was supposed to do. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
All right.
So was there a time in your life such thing occurred?
Let me respond to that very sweet. Without a doubt, there was such a time, especially the time where I have not come to know God, that I have not come to know that this God we are talking about has a plan. You see, at that junction in Genesis where God said, let us now make man
in his image,
in our image, after our likeness. You see, at that junction was a junction where God made you and gave you purpose. So until you come to terms with the manufacturer, you can't know what you are meant for. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I can tell you that anybody and everybody can have some struggles, can have some pain when you are disconnected from that creator, that divinity. But I actually heard God's servant again, my senior pastor, Dr. Pastor Paul NGO. I heard him one time tell a story about a billionaire. He said, he asked the billionaire, what is the secret of your business? Why you seem to be doing well in business. What is the secret? The man said, actually, he has not done any business that he has failed. And the pastor said, what is your secret? And the man said, because he consistently goes to God. Just like David said, should I pursue? Will I overtake? Will I recover all? So he goes to God in an inquiring mode. And until he feels peace in the realm of the spirit. That is traffic. There is something I call traffic in the realm of the spirit. In normal traffic, you see, there is a time when you want to try something and you have the red light. Don't try it. You have the yellow light. Wait and still observe. You have not possibly, God has not possibly responded. And then there is a time when it is green and you're having the go. So the man said he checks himself. He checks his peace level. God said, when I speak to you, I will speak peace. So God must lead you beside still water, not troubled waters.
Exactly.
You understand? So there is a peace that comes with the leading of God for you not to make mistakes. So I can tell you that I have suffered also the pain of ignorance, maybe at such a time when I have not come to terms with the creator, the manufacturer who made me.
Yeah.
So there were things that I have tried left, right, center that didn't work. I have put money in businesses that didn't work before I knew God. But I can guarantee you that it is not magic. That since I came to terms with God, since I came to know my God, of course I should do exploits. But those who know their God, they shall be strong, they shall do exploits. So having this understanding made me brutal in the business realm, where I knew that I cannot put my money anywhere and fail. Of course, myself and my partner, we came to that understanding that we cannot fail in business. If we will fail, we won't enter into it at all. Just like there is a declaration in my church where if it will crash, you won't enter. And if you enter, it won't crash. So there is this mentality that drives us. We have attempted a lot of businesses. No one has failed. And no one is attempting to fail. and no one will fail. But I can tell you before now that we have struggled with certain things individually growing up and all that, trying to put money here and there. Of course. And it didn't work. Can I shock you? Down to MMM, I didn't make mistake.
You do MMM?
Yes, down to MMM, I didn't make mistake. I'm on air, I may not want to disclose it. I started MMM early. You understand?
Yeah.
When MMM wanted to crash, I withdrew all my money. I didn't put money again. Because at that time, my spirit and my check mechanism level was telling me that this is the junction where I need to withdraw. Do you understand? So
Yeah.
I have not, since I came to terms with God, I can't lose money like that. You understand? I pay consistently whatever I need to do and all that. I mean, like, why should I lose money?
Because you always have this confrontation or consultation with God, your maker. You know, a lot of people have failed to understand that anything you do, that you have to put God first. Even the Bible says so. Put the kingdom of God first, and every other thing will be added onto thee.
Exactly.
You know, we fail to understand that. We think that we have to do all these things within our powers and all those things. No, but no. I tell my people, I tell my friends around me, and I tend to tell the next generation also through this podcast that you guys should, and first of all, whatever you're about to do, and once you've started thinking you've grown, or you've getting to a stage where you need to be effective and to make a living from whatever you're doing, so you need to make sure you're in a good terms with God Almighty. Yes, because He's the only one that is going to guide you. He's going to one that is going to direct your steps, you know, to where you will not fail. Because if you try to do it on your own, sometimes, not even sometimes, a lot of times, because from my experience too, I have tried a lot of things that did not actually work out. But anytime I see myself into the media industry, I see myself going in, because I've worked in a radio station and I've worked in a TV station. It was all going well. Just because I wanted growth, I relocated. I don't know if you understand. So because I wanted growth, so I think that the place I was, I'm not getting to the target audience, but I was actually doing well for myself, you know. Yes, making my money from there, and I was doing well for myself. So until I relocated to Abuja, I said I need a target audience that will understand the intellectual orientation that I have to pass on to them. So that is how I finally got to arrive at this, you know, something like that. So the pain of ignorance, this topic, it's something that in a bit have kind of bothered me, but thank God that we are talking about it today, and I thank God for the knowledge you are sharing, you know.
You see, let me just come in quickly. You know, the reason why we are talking about the pain of ignorance, and it is coming back to us relating this matter to what God wants out of our life, is because the truth of the matter remains that where this ignorance has come to stay, or you look at the life of somebody that you can consider to be ignorant of what he or she is meant to do out of their life, you look closely, you will discover that there is a disconnection from the Creator. God made every one of us. He knows, and He has imputed in us what His will, His plan and purpose is. And the truth of the matter is that I keep saying, it is only the potter that knows the purpose of the clay. And until that clay remains within the confines of the potter, you understand, that clay is out of focus. Because how does a fish survive outside water? How do you survive outside the Creator? You will be short. You will have a lot of shortage, because to be disconnected from source is to lack supply. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Show me a man that is disconnected from source. I will tell you that you are face to face with a man that has shortage in supply. You understand? These are some of, not knowing God is actually translated into the pain of ignorance.
Oh, yes.
You will go through storms.
Yes.
You will go through a very hard life.
Very well.
You understand?
Very
so
well.
This topic is very important, because the first thing you need to know to get out of ignorance and to avoid the pain is to know your God. You understand? Is to know your God. Know your God, because then you can be qualified for exploits. Because people who don't know their God, definitely they are frustrated. Trust me when I tell you.
Yes. You can see that
how
in
much
society.
peace can you have How much tranquility can you enjoy outside the confines of the will, plan, and purpose of God for your life? You can't exist outside purpose and exist correctly. You understand what I'm saying? So, ignorance as it is, like I said, is an absolute bankruptcy of knowledge, where knowledge is in great shortage. You understand? And there is complete retrogression and backwardness. So ignorance indeed is not something that anybody should do. We have parents who took care of us and all that. Now, if your parents are still alive and they are not doing well, like I said, it's not because they completely lacked knowledge and all that. But if you check properly, there may be some major regrets that your parents had that you need not to have, so that your children will not be talking about these things.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that you can now tell your children what you avoided for their sake. I was thinking about this topic when I chose it, and I was thinking within a line, that if you pay today, like I said, you can play tomorrow, and if you play today, you will pay tomorrow.
Yeah.
So some men, especially some parents today, that are in poverty and all that, does it mean that they didn't pay yesterday? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Is that why they are paying today? The truth of the matter is that
we were playing yesterday. That is why they are paying today.
Well,
yeah.
Like I said, we may want to give some excuses.
Yes.
But if you take a critical look, you will discover that your father or your grandfather, you understand? I want to believe your father is a rich man.
My father is dead.
Okay. So they must have told you one or two things that they, just like the question you asked me, that they missed, an opportunity they missed, a knowledge in an area that should have been applied that they didn't apply. You understand? I may not want to go too far, but I remember a particular scenario where one of the elders in my family, you understand, was telling me about the quality relationship he had with a big man in the government. You understand? Showed evidences, showed pictures, showed how they were up together and all that. And consistently he couldn't meet this big man. That was his friend back in the days. You understand? Up until this big man left office. Do you understand? And then only to come in contact with this man. I said, why didn't you come? Why didn't you come? What were you thinking? This ignorance can put you in absolute regret. You don't want to live a life of ignorance, because what you don't know, you can't show.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yes, exactly.
I gave you one example. I told you, if you don't know that there is water behind the house there, you can never benefit from it. You will be thirsty. You'll be thirsty. You won't benefit from it just because you didn't know. There is no information. And this information will not come and jam you where you are. You don't need to wait for the internet to get information.
You have to go and seek for it.
You need to seek information. You need to pursue information. You need to pursue knowledge. So I want to congratulate anybody listening to this to apply.
Very important.
Listening to apply, not being just hearers but doers. You understand?
Yes.
Because if you just hear and you trash it and you don't know that there is a price to pay, step out of that convenience. Pay price now and play tomorrow. See, before I became certified engineer, let me tell you the truth, I paid price. You don't want to know what I went through. For 3 solid years, I was going to a particular site where I was given an opportunity to work with other engineers. I was going there for 3 years, 3 solid years. Most times, I didn't have transport at all. Most times, I had the transport to go. I didn't have the one to come back. I am not talking about the feeding yet. Most times, and I got so lucky because I was consistent despite the odds. I got so lucky where these engineers fell in love with me. You understand? They will have major corrections in the site. They will leave it until they see me and say, oh boy, whenever you encounter this kind of difficulty building, this is what to do and this is how to do it. So that is how I learned. So that was how I gained knowledge. Today I am independent. It is only on very special, very rare occasion that I can pick up my phone and call a senior engineer and say, come please, this is what I think I'm going through right now. How do I get out of this kind of challenge? Only on rare occasion. But I can tell you that I have gained knowledge, and that knowledge is bringing prosperity.
Exactly. Because you invested in the knowledge.
Because I was going there all the time. Because I invested in the knowledge. If I was ignorant in that area, nobody will call me for a building.
No.
Nobody will call me for a project.
No, your papa
You understand?
Yeah.
So in the area of your excellence is the area of your prosperity. In the area of your knowledge is the area of your prosperity. That means there is a direct relationship between knowledge and prosperity.
Yes.
And there is an inverse relationship between ignorance and prosperity. Inverse relationship. That is to say, ignorance and prosperity are mutually exclusive, diametrically opposed. They are cantankerous to each other.
Exactly.
You understand?
They don't go
They don't go
at all.
They cannot mix like that water in Ogun State everywhere. Osun State and
where the little and
so they can't mix.
Yeah, they can't mix
You
together.
can't have a mix. You understand?
Yes.
I've told you, show me an ignorant person, I'm showing you a poor person. Both poor physically and poor in the mind.
Yeah.
You understand? So these things are very, very important if we are charged with this kind of mentality.
We need to be aware. Wow, this is as I'm listening also, I'm learning a lot of things, you know. Yes, because this is something that I trust me, you've actually made me understand a lot of things that I think I know that I don't actually know. But now I've come to realize that
You can now avoid the pain of ignorance.
very, very well. Me and God has done a very long thing now. Yo, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sir Dave. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this information. Thank you for the knowledge you're sharing for me and for the sake of the next generation and for the sake of our society and for the sake of anyone listening out there. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I just believe that anyone listening out there will actually find a way of applying this. Knowledge is not something that you don't just hear it, just try to apply it, because the Bible says when you seek for knowledge, God will bless you with wisdom. Wisdom actually help for you to implement those knowledge, those things you've actually learned, to implement it just like you have said, to make it to be successful and to make progress in your daily lives. You understand? So thank you so much, Mr. Dev. Thank you so much for anyone listening out there.
Welcome.
Yes, I so much appreciate your time. And
This goes viral.
yeah, definitely. By the grace of God, what you gave here, it's a vital knowledge, and within my powers, I will make every available resources, to make it reach to the target audience, So, and also to anyone listening out there, you guys have heard it all. Please, I would want you to also help me in any way you can to make this go out there by subscribing and sharing to your platforms, your social media platforms. Share to your friend, tell someone about this podcast. So invite someone to listen to this podcast. It's grounded in knowledge. It's very well oriented. I bring in some intellectual personalities to share what they know. It's something that you will never regret spending your time on listening to. So thank you so much for anyone listening out there. Thank you so much, Sir Dev, once again. I really want to see you guys on the next episode. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please kindly subscribe and share to your contact. And if you're not following me on any audio podcast platform, please try to do so and keep in touch with me every week. Thank you so much. God bless you. Sir Dev.